bored.
Well, I got a commercial on my telephone, but it's running good on the boob tube though.
Yeah, should be doing good.
Yeah.
I've got a good interview coming up Wednesday too, so that's good.
Who's that with?
White Rock Homestead.
Damn. I don't think I ever heard of them. Well, I know I have not never heard of them.
Well, they're another good one that if you watch their videos, you would think they had like 20,000, 30,000 subscribers, but they're only like 2,000 subscribers.
Really?
Yeah. And it's because the homestead thing. It's a shame because they're unless you're already were established before 2020 came along, you have a hard time with your channel basically if you have homestead or you talk about homesteading.
Now I wonder what that is. YouTube.
2 commercials. We ain't talking about that right now, Jeff.
Oh.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, damn it, Carl. I hate that.
Yeah, I don't
get fired up.
I'm trying something with YouTube to try to get out of the thing. I sound like Biden now, the thing. But how's everybody going tonight? We got what? We got Robert Bates in here, Bubble Bibble, Susie D. Hey, Susie D. I hope you're doing good.
I kind of want to give a shout out to Dana B. Right now, that lady is going through chaos. I'm doing it pretty good. And just keep that lady in your prayers for the time being. Yeah. She is in Florida, and where she lives at, the area that she lives in, the hurricane got them pretty good.
It was a tornado.
Oh, it was a I thought, okay.
Yeah, because it does happen. The hurricane comes through and it creates tornadoes.
Yeah.
Matter
of fact, I think that's every hurricane that goes landfall.
Well, it depends. If they're slow moving ones, to where that if the wind's too fast, it can't create one. But if it's a slow one, then it can create tornadoes.
But anyway, just keep that lady in your prayers and pray that they hurry up and get the power back to the community.
Yeah,
down in there, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be people on Coshocton that lives down in that area. They need power also. And like me and Bushcraft,
that's lovely.
Earlier, if people down in that area or any other area that got hit like that, and they've been watching channels like ours, they should have been practicing.
I just noticed that my OBS has been recording for a while. More than likely, a cat came up here and stepped on the key.
Oh no!
Yeah, I just deleted a 140 gigabyte recording.
Yeah.
So it's been recording for a little while.
Cat, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You need to be alone.
Well, it's a good thing that I've got a lot of space, some big hard drives, because if not, I would have been really lagging.
Yeah.
And here comes probably the one that did it.
Happy Labor Day, be charming.
Oh, but
Robert, you got me on that text.
I'll be glad when it starts cooling off. That way I can get out in the garage and start cleaning it and rearranging it to do some woodworking stuff.
Oh God, yes.
I'm not going out there now.
Listening on the radio coming back from my son's house. Now, I'm talking humidity, okay? They said it was supposed to get in triple digits tomorrow. So that means the regular temperature is probably going to be over, I'm going to say hovering 95, if not higher tomorrow.
Yeah, ours is 100% right now.
Is it?
Yeah. 88 degrees, 100%.
Well, you know, for the last 2-3 days,
yep.
my ass is not being outside unless it's early morning.
Oh, it did get to 92, actually. So it did cool off a little bit.
Well, right now, I'm looking at about 83 degrees. But the sun has gone down also. And this thermometer is not out in the sun. So it's up underneath the porch.
Yeah, that's where I got mine outside.
Yeah.
If I went out there, it's usually 2 to 4 degrees higher than what my computer says, because my computer goes off a city that's south of here, probably about 40 miles.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what Robert Bates is talking about.
Says once I empty it, I need to seal the deck and load it with brush. I'm assuming that his trailer, he said loaded a trailer for a junk run tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Susie D said they was at 91 degrees today, index 94.
Yeah, it's a hot one, and there's a lot saying it's going to be a bad winter, but they said it was going to be a bad winter last year too. So I think they always say it's going to be a bad winter. Is there ever a good winter?
Well, that's because they covering their backside, you know, in case they get about 2 or 3 foot of snow down here. They can say, "Well, we didn't. It wasn't that we didn't warn you."
Yeah, I look at some of the stuff. Now I haven't been because it's been too dang hot, but if you go out to the woods, you see the caterpillars, and if they got, and this is, and I'm not an expert for this or anything. There we go. I'm not an expert or anything, but there are certain caterpillars, their patterns. If it's going to be a really bad winter, you'll see it on the caterpillars.
Well, the last 3 years, I've checked my persimmon seeds. And let me, before I get fired up on this one, persimmon seeds is only good for your area. Just because I got a knife in my persimmon seed does not mean up in the mountains the weather's going to be the same. You know, it's just going to be in that region that you're in. But The last 3 years, I've checked my persimmon seeds. There's been a spoon every year. And the spoon means, if I remember correctly, it's going to be a bad winter with a lot of snow. And I think the fork is a mild but brisk winter. And the knife means it's going to be a windy, but it's going to be the breeze will cut through you. In other words, it'll be a cold, breezy winter.
Brisky.
Very.
And like if you grow onions, tomatoes, but there's a difference between the tomatoes and onions. Usually if it's onions or garlic, they'll get a thicker skin on them. That means that winter is going to be tougher, and they make that skin to protect the root. Supposed to be the same thing with potatoes, but because sometimes you can tell potatoes have a thicker skin than sometimes you can just rub off the skin. It's so light.
Well, now I've heard Daddy talk about hornet nest. He said if a hornet was to build a nest closer to the ground, it was going to be a mild winter. But if they built it kind of high up in the trees, it was going to be a bad winter.
Yeah, I only see him up underneath the porch. And
Robert, I'm in North Carolina.
I heard that if you paint the top part of your roof and your blue on your porch, the underside of your porch, that nothing will make a nest up there. I don't know if it's true because I'm not going to go out and paint the underside of my porch blue. I might have to save that blue for the roof.
I'll let you know next year. But right now, mine's white, and I got a whole bunch of wasp nests. I take like a shovel or something. I just knock them down. They come back following year.
Yeah.
So, has it got to be a certain type of shade of blue? Or
that's what I was just talking about. The caterpillars. There's and the problem is I can't remember. I think it's got the black stripe in it. The caterpillar. I mean, it's going to be a bad winter. I can't remember.
Okay, starting from the head going to the tail.
It's crossways. Oh. So like in the middle of its belly going across. Yeah, not the length of it.
No. Wait till I finish here. Wait till I finish. I'm talking about something different.
Oh, okay.
On a whirly worm, going from head to tail, depending on the color. If it is, let's say, black, and about halfway through it gets lighter, that means the beginning of winter is supposed to be a bad one. But
if, 3 parts.
Yeah. But if the whole the caterpillar is black, that means that whole winter is supposed to be bad. Now, that's the way I heard. And I'm going to be straight up truthful about it. Every damn one I've come across has lied.
Oh, here comes Jeff. Let's change colors. Hurry.
Yeah, really. The damn thing's about like chameleons around here. Good evening, Miss or Mr. Grape Jams. I hope y'all had a good day today.
That's Mama.
Okay, Miss Grape Jams.
Yeah.
My wife, look, I'm sorry, okay? I don't want it to sound the way it's going to come out. But my wife is the one who is crazy about the channel. I will listen to them, but you know, I'll sit there and watch them. But
which is at 9 o'clock
tonight, Dixie,
Yeah.
tonight, 9 o'clock. Trust me, I do not have to tell her what time. The only thing I have to tell her is how to pull it up on my channel so she can watch it.
Flies and mosquitoes on a hen.
Today and yesterday has been one of them days to where we just have a hard time keeping our eyes open. You know, we just want to sleep. I don't know if it's something in the air or what it is.
I don't know. I'll leave that to Robert. I'll leave that to Jeff. He can sample that for us. So if they're crunchy, it's going to be a bad winter. If they're squishy, it's going to be an easy winter. So you let me know, Jeff.
I'll already let you know
on one.
If they are crunchy, then they survive. If they're mushy or whatever, I'll try them.
Oh, we're good. Okay, now that our 15 minutes of waiting for the YouTube police to leave my channel, let's get started with tonight's subject. It's all about the AI and whatnot. And I don't mean that's in computers or anything. I'm mainly focusing on the stuff that you see on videos and things. And I know for a fact that there are officials. They're even actors and everything that don't even show up. All they have to do is say 20 words, 20 to 50 words, and a computer does their face and everything, their words, the whole 9 yards. But there was something played a few days ago about DeSantis, Ron DeSantis, saying he's quitting running for president, and a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers came out and said it was the truth. And I don't know if it's just me because I've been involved with computers since they came out, or I can just spot it really easily. But that video was copied, and it also came out in the news. A couple news stations actually ran it saying it was real, but it wasn't. And the guy who made it, he does this stuff, and he mismatches faces sometimes. He did one of Hillary, putting a guy's face on Hillary, which was bad enough. But and it's really easy. There's programs out there that you don't even have to know anything that will take your face. You sit still and get a picture of your face, and you upload it, and it will put your face on movie clips and movie scenes. And it blends right into where it looks normal, and you can see the face talking and whatever. But the fact that this video, I'm going to go ahead and show it real quick. I'm just going to do bits and pieces of it too, so I don't get in too much trouble with it. Give it a second to load. And as you can see his face over here. And it even says it's a fake, all this stuff. And people still commented on the same video where it's labeled that it's a fake, deep fake, and all this stuff. They still comment about how bad he was and glad he's not running anymore. And I'm like, it's not real. And it's amazing how somebody will just look at a thumbnail and start watching it without digging into it or anything. But let's go ahead and play it. First of all, where I just paused it right there, let me make it larger here. Let's see, full screen layout. Now, if you look at this just right here alone, I don't have to play it. I already know it's fake, because if you look at his mouth right up in here, when people say certain words, you can see their tongue moving. Throughout this whole thing, you don't see his tongue.
Out of this race immediately. I was told I could be president by some very powerful people, and I took some very bad advice.
And you also notice his twitching. We all move our heads. Oh, I don't. There we go. We all move our heads and stuff when we talk. We move our hands. We shoulder bumps and everything. The one thing that you want to look for during these things is the reverse bump. And that's when you see them going this way, back down, back up again. That means they just reversed it and played it back again. The motion, and that's bad on the actual the coder who's coding it. It's usually just software, to where the software gets lazy and puts it in there. But like I said, this is source coming from this video comes straight from the guy. And you can see it's what Ron DeSantis should say but won't. And it says in the description that it's deep fake and all this other stuff. And the fact is, this is being used by other politicians. I've even seen it done with Trump. I've seen it done with Hillary. I've seen it done with Biden. I've seen it done multiple politicians. It's done in celebrities. It's done from I've even seen sports figures standing up at the podium, and you think that the reporters are asking questions and stuff. They're not even there. It's all AI. And the fact that this AI is, it's real simple. There's things on your phone that you can download and do it yourself. They're not as good as there's actual companies out there that do this stuff for a living, so that maybe somebody's on vacation and they don't want to do this press release, so they'll say, hey, I want to do this press release, can you set it up? That what they'll do is they have them record certain phrases, certain words, and they upload those words to their computer, and the software creates a whole speech and everything, and they can give them the speech that they're going to say, even, and tell them, well, and they'll write it all out, or have their press person send the speech, and you'll never know. But like I said, there are some good programs out or good companies that do this, that where it is extremely hard to catch uh, these things doing this. George Eastman.
Yeah.
First roll of film. Oh, wow.
True that.
But the fact that what I really want to get to on this is, even if you 100% think it's real, double check, make sure that somebody else is not, make sure it's 100% before saying it to one person, because then it gets spread around and it's like all over the place. And, oh, did you hear he said this? And then you find out that it's never been said or anything like that. And that's where that fake information gets out there, and discredits a lot of things that are said.
Well, my opinion, these AIs and everything, they're going to get better and better. And
Oh,
eventually,
yeah.
we will not be able to distinguish them from the
Yeah.
real people.
And it's been uh, proven many times. Even one-on-one's had it on his lines, where you can see the green screen of a microphone poking through somebody's body and then coming back through
Mm-hmm.
on Biden. It's supposed to be outside, uh, getting ready to walk over to the helicopter. You can see the microphone go right through the arm and everything,
Yeah.
which is a sign of a green screen.
The
And
beach over.
it's not that that's a bad thing. The bad thing is that they don't say, hey, we use green screens, or we use this every once in a while when the president's busy doing something. The fact that they use this and they try to put it off as it's real, that leaves a, you know, what else are they not telling us? What else are they lying about? That's where you can't trust people when they have things like that.
Now, B. Charman also says, how else are rumors supposed to get started? Well, this day and time, to get a rumor started, TV, think about it.
Oh, it's so easy now.
Yeah.
I mean, um, there are tons of YouTubers out there right now that uh, don't do research. They hear something from Reddit or Twitter or whatever, and then they come out with it and say this and this, and then somebody that actually will do research about it and say, hey, this is not true. And then, oh, yes, it is. I heard it over here. And then it's,
Yeah.
by then it's spread all over the place. And then you try to tell somebody that's not true. And, oh, no, we heard it from this person over here. It's true. And that's where you get
Exactly, Mike.
that big mess up of what to believe now. And then that's when you get these fact checkers from Facebook, and which I would say the majority of them are
fake.
Well, they're pre-programmed to hide the truth.
Yeah. Mike Jones did on that. So.
Yeah, and the odd thing is that that was showing the green screen part, which really doesn't make sense to me because they don't have to use green screens. Green screens are old. The green screens are something that's started when they were making Matrix. Um, they're outdated because you don't need them anymore. Unless you're on a budget or something that you don't have the money to do everything on the computer, they're really outdated. Um, Everything now is you just feed information into a computer and the computer will make it all up for you. You'd be surprised how far it's gotten. Even the CGI stuff, the majority of the CGI now is the AI part of it. It's an actual computer program that you just put in the variables and stuff, and it creates the world, the shadows, the voices, the gestures, and it can be from sweat to whatever, and it could be in fact creating wrinkles, seams, and stuff on purpose.
Well, now we've seen that with Biden.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Well, you can't really see my neck. I turn way over here, but that's the thing. Do you know that we were not meant to see that, or was it that oops they messed up? Because that's the thing. They don't have to wear a mask. We're way past wearing a mask and things like that. It's all digital now. Were we meant to see that? So everybody's talking about that and not paying attention to what's really going on. And that's the scary part. What are the stuff that they're feeding us to keep us thinking about that certain subject? That's what's really going on that we're not paying attention to, because we see it all the time. We see balloons. We see, unfortunately, bad things do happen. Submarines that implode. You got what was what was this last thing that was going on when Biden Jr. was in court, or I should say, getting a slap on the wrist? Go away.
Yeah, money. It had something to do with money. Pop's name finally come out that he was in a lot of it, and
Yeah, but I'm talking about not that, but the other stuff that was going on that everybody was paying attention to.
Oh, you talking about what happened in the White House?
No.
Damn, you got me lost.
Okay. If I got I'm reaching over there stealing your cheese, but I'm waving over here. I'm distracting you and I'm stealing your cheese. That's what I'm getting at. It's not
okay.
the main subject, it's the subject that you're focused on, like the balloons. Everybody was all over the news. It was all about the balloons. But there was stuff going on in I shouldn't say the main news, because the main news is just a soap opera.
Yeah.
A bunch of fake, you know.
Hello, Misty
Fake stuff.
Haynes.
Hey, Misty.
Glad you can make it tonight. Dude, great jams.
Oh, really? Well, and I brought this up to 101 because he's up there too. He's not on the west side, but people were saying that the flashes were coming from the ground up. You know, where normal people would see lightning, you'd think it's lightning, but the flashes were going up instead of down. Because if you slow it down, you see the flashes coming from the ground up. And again, laser beams. Not saying that's what it was or anything, but uh, it's quite odd that lightning strikes, and lightning does come out of the earth and go up,
Yeah.
but it's not a regular thing. And if you sit there and watch the film of these lightning flashes and you slow it way down, you see the light starting at the ground and going up. That's not how lightning does. It starts
Robert,
in the sky and goes down, which I don't know if you can see in this video. Yes, right there.
Robert, he would have one working hand. He got Bushcraft family. One of them would not work that great.
And just like a certain volcano in the middle of the ocean out there, there was a flash
Yes,
of
Bobby.
light coming from the sky down
Straight
to
in.
into the volcano, which then it erupted, and then you seen the flash coming from the mountain, and that's where those weird gamma rays and stuff came from the earth, which they come from space.
Life
But
with Bobby.
I'm not an expert. I don't know this stuff, but I dabble in everything that doesn't look real.
If you look at something long enough and keep seeing different images of whatever,
Yeah, Robert, you're
it
right.
won't take you long to tell the difference.
Yeah, if you study volcanoes, right before a volcano's going to erupt, you'll see lightning come out of the volcano.
Mm-hmm.
Because what is lightning? It's a static electricity, and there's friction coming from the heat and stuff, and it goes. But it's very different when it's in Michigan. And if you look at the radar itself, you see where it's all clear, and all of a sudden a red dot, and then it goes woof, and there's a big storm all of a sudden.
There's a lot of stuff we can see.
I don't say it's like you can see the radar of the fires in Canada. Five spots start at the exact same time. It could be an arsonist. It could be man-made, or it could just be a lucky 5 strikes of lightning all at the same time. But which one sounds more right, if you know what I mean? And I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but when Biden gives a speech saying that he wants to do more testing about spraying stuff in the sky to block the sun so it cools the earth more. All of a sudden we have fires in Canada and New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan. All these states are completely covered with smoke.
Damn,
guess what? Our temperature went up. It didn't go down, so their theory didn't work very well.
I didn't think Pennsylvania had many trees left to catch on fire.
Oh, they got a lot of trees in Pennsylvania.
I like to know how in the world California is catching on fire. As many years as this been on fire, it seemed like to me all them trees out there should have done burned up by now.
Yeah. Hey, Peanut. But who's to say that this AI of things, who's to say it's not a computer that's doing it and not being told to do it? There may be a program running somewhere that nobody knows about, and it's running things. It's scary to think about that, but a program that got so smart that it took over things and it's controlling things. I mean, how would you actually know unless somebody caught it?
At one time, did one of them computers get so smart that they had to unplug it because it scared the scientists?
I don't know. I've said this before because it's proven. It's, you can go to Google and find out. Google started a program with pictures and to identify pictures from people to places, and it would learn those pictures and then find where they come from and stuff like that. And every time it does that, it they programmed it to learn from that. So every time it learns, it creates a better version of itself. So every time it learns, it creates another version that's better. Every time it gets better and better, so that it knows all the pictures and where they come from and all this stuff. And this is documented stuff from Google itself. And this computer, this AI, has gotten so powerful that it's making copies of itself a million times over every second. So when is that going to be to where it stops looking at pictures and videos and files and stuff? When is it going to say, hey, I'm getting tired of doing this, I'm going to take over the world? And how would anybody know unless they're actually looking at the code, which is impossible for a human to see code going by so fast and creating itself. It makes you if you get down to it, and how it can actually do anything it wants to do because everything's connected. I mean, our cars run. There's cars out there drives themselves now. There's airplanes. The autopilot's been around forever. Now they can actually land themselves. You can go on and see all the automated things that people don't do anymore because there's a computer that does it for them.
Now, I read today up on one of the news channels that I get that in certain vehicles, let's say like in Canada and so forth, where they have in wildfires, they will get a EBS report come across in their vehicle stating that they are fixing to drive through a wildfire or something like that. I'm sitting there and, you know, kind of joking. I told him, I said, well, hell, if you can't see the smoke and everything, you know, and then it was told me, what happens if it's at nighttime? Can you see the smoke then? That person had a real good argument right there if I wanted to proceed. But I agree
like
with
the traffic, because it started with, you know, oh, there's traffic 5 miles ahead. What?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, here's traffic. And it's almost instant now.
Oh, coming back from vacation, I had my GPS set and everything. And I could see on the flat, 2-3 miles up, so a cop done had somebody pull, and it would come up saying speed trap ahead. And I would say, I would argue with my telephone. I said, hell, I already see you. Should have told me 5 miles back. And the wife sitting over there laughing, you know. But that was on a flat. What happens if you've been up in the mountains or, you know, rolling road or something like that and couldn't see it? You know, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. But I reckon to be a butt about it, I kind of look for mistakes and things.
Oh,
and then I ride stuff like that.
Yeah, I was looking at looking at property, and I followed the GPS too. Only I was sitting there looking at GPS, and I'm like, why are you having me drive all the way around this?
Yep.
And so I shut the thing off and go about it my own way, and I was there quicker. And I set it to go back home, and it sent me back around the whole place again, and I still don't understand why it did that. So I just shut it off and I drove home. And again, we're getting to that stage to where we're I wouldn't say reliable. It's just we're getting lazy.
Yeah.
Tech lazy, I guess you would call it, something like that. When the kids were younger, we would go into Salt Fork, which is not too far from here, and they have trails where you go hiking, and they're just, I mean, it's nice for, you know, if somebody coming from the city and they don't go hiking and they're, you know, they're civilized, I guess. You walk on this nice path that's got little bits of gravel on it, so it's nice and smooth.
So you can trip and twist your ankle.
No, it's so you don't do that. I mean, it's not. It's almost like a sidewalk going through the forest and stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, hell with this!" And I just took a right, and I said, "Come on." And they're saying that we have to follow the path. And I said, no, we don't have to follow the path. There's no sign saying we can't, go exploring through here. It's hiking. It's not. So we went off and we found a fox den, and we watched the little foxes. I don't know what they call baby foxes, kits or pups or whatever there are, but we were watching them play. We sat over on a stump, just watching them. And then we went down and had lunch on rocks next to the lake, and nobody else around because everybody else followed the path to boringness. And we walked through. We found all kinds of different species of plants and some edibles and stuff. And I was teaching the kids how to verify this plant is better or the good version and this one's the bad one and things like that. And we had more fun going off on our own. And I never got lost. We walked probably about 12, 14 miles that day, and I went straight back to the car without the path. I went straight back to the car because I know directions. But I do know if you're not very experienced, you have to follow the path because you get regular people would get lost because they're not used to reading the terrain, reading the sun where it's at and where it's going, things like that. I wouldn't suggest anybody to go out and do that.
No. But, it's like this. You get me a compass and an aerial map, I'm not getting lost. But it's like you said, I wouldn't suggest that to just anybody, especially city.
I mean, how many people out there, if you're in the middle of the woods and you close your eyes and you spin around 10 times and then you open your eyes, would you know which way was north?
Oh, hell yeah. I could find north within 5 minutes.
Now, how would you do that?
With a stick.
What's a stick going to do?
You point it straight up to the sun to where it ain't no shadow.
There's no sun.
We talking daytime? We talking nighttime?
Anytime. You can't rely on the sun.
Moss.
And it could be no moon out. It could be pitch dark. There you go.
If it's that damn dark, my ass ain't moving. I'm staying there the morning.
What if you have to move though? That's the thing.
That'd be different. I do know moss grows on the north side. Like that.
Well, do you know that grows on the north side everywhere?
Yeah.
Huh? Not everywhere. There's certain oh crap, what do they call that? Parallel?
Yeah, the lines and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that it doesn't. Which you don't really, if you're not in those areas, you don't really need to know that, but it's always a good.
Well, at nighttime, if you got a clear sky, follow the North Star or look up, find the North Star, like that. I reckon, like I said, when I was a youngin', I loved the woods. I mean, to me, it was more peaceful out there. But I would have to go back out there in the woods and retrain myself. Yeah. Now, I mean, even right now, I'm not getting lost, but there is a whole bunch of stuff I have forgot, and you stay out there It ain't gonna take you long to.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Equator.
Equator.
Yeah.
South of the equator. But
well, there's even the North Star is different in some areas. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes it's different.
Robert, I'm comfortable myself. You know, what I know, what I think may be true, you know, may not be. But I know enough to survive. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, I would because I've been asked if you you got lost in the woods, how long could you survive? And there's not really a real answer to that, because any little thing can happen. I have already lived in the woods for 9 months when I was 10 years old. Could I do that now? I think I would have had an easier time back then than now, right now.
Robert, no, I didn't. I didn't even know what a flintlock was when I was, 10 years old. Okay. But I knew there were certain type of rocks that you can make sparks out of, you know, like that. I knew that. And I knew how, if I was fishing on the river, I didn't have no frying pans or nothing. I know how to cook a fish and pull the mud back from it, you know.
Yeah.
I know how to eat like that.
You got that right. A lot of people don't know the dials and everything, and how to point it and to use it with a map.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be surprised to, oh, what's this thing for? Oh, what's that thing for? And that's what that. And there's I can't remember his name now. He lives just south here too.
Bear Grylls?
No, that guy sucks. He's an actor.
Hello, Ark Wild Man. I hope you having a good evening.
Oh, Canterbury. He does a good class to where he shows you how to use a compass with a map, and explains, you know, how to use it and everything.
Now, I watch Corporal's Corner, okay? And he does practically the same thing, but hardly without the map. You know, I've seen him pull out compasses, and let's say, instead of going in a straight line.
Hold on a second. What? The needle, you have to do something with the needle first. You can't just use a needle. And you actually, no, you're not going to have a magnet out in the woods. One of the things is silk. If you can charge it with silk, you get silk and rub it back and forth, you can actually charge the needle. If you had a magnet, yeah, but chances are you having a magnet out in the boonies. It is very slim, but actually, I'm trying to remember it. I do have a magnet in my bug out bag. It's on the flashlight. because you can
Yeah.
set it on metal, so that would work. I was sitting there trying to think if I actually had, and I do have a silk ribbon just for that case, in case I needed to use if I didn't have a compass with me.
Shit, I got 2 or 3 different compasses, but the best one that I like is the one I sent you, because I got myself one.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are nice because it has the that way you can
Backtrack.
set it to go whatever direction you're going.
Yep.
Even if it's not true north or whatnot.
Yep.
And one of the guys I like is Survivor Man.
I don't think I've seen that one.
How have you not seen Survivor Man? He's like he actually carries all his equipment with him. So he doesn't have a crew with him. He's the crew. And he gets dropped off somewhere for 7 days, and he builds shelter, fire, and whatever.
Okay.
And his real name is Les Strauss, and he actually I think it's somewhere in Canada or Alaska. They dropped him off, and he says, well, this time I think I'm going to make it a little interesting. He says, I'm right-handed. My dominant hand is right. So I'm going to tie it to where it is. If it was broken, I couldn't use it. So he survived with one arm, not his dominant hand either, to prove it could be done. He built a fire, he did trapping and all kinds of other stuff while he was there.
When I was born right-handed. And within the last year or so, I'm having to use my left hand. And I'm going to tell you like this. That's the hardest damn thing, period, is convert right to left. Everything is ass backwards.
Yeah, I always use both. I'm a weirdo. Whenever I was playing baseball, the person that was up before me was left-handed, so I picked up the bat and hit left-handed, and then I was out going in the outfield, and he told me to throw the ball back, and I threw it back right-handed, and he said, "What are you, right-handed or left-handed?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Which hand do you write with?" And I said, "Well, usually I write with my right hand." He said, "Okay." And then he had me go back and bat right-handed, and I hit it again. He says, that's cool. I didn't know. And I ended up being able to hit left and right-handed.
Well, now, when I used to play baseball, I'd mess with the pitchers. If they got a left-handed pitcher, I'd go right-handed, or vice versa. And I'm gonna tell you, back then, I couldn't hit a damn rock left-handed. If I was to throw a rock left-handed, I would throw like a girl. I'm sorry. Okay? It's straight up, plain and simple. But I just like messing with people like that. Hell, they don't know.
Yeah. That was fun times, though.
Yeah, that's when we had energy back then. I thought I saw.
Well, you could play around. You didn't have to work all day.
Exactly.
Once you got your speed through your chores really quick and get them all done, then you go out and run the mountains and swim and all. build forts and all kinds of stuff now.
Yeah, you could. Or you could take you out in the woods, take some limber trees and kind of bend them a little bit or tie two together. You can make a lean tube like that, so forth. But I wish I could go back in time and do what I used to do back in.
Yeah, that's supposed to be pretty rare.
My father was
I didn't even know there was a difference until going to school.
My daddy was right-handed, but when he chopped wood or hammered, it was left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Read what Life posted.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading.
He's asking you a question.
The AI and holograph. Well,
yeah,
I'm assuming the holograph stuff is coming. I mean, there already is some, but it's at a small scale. But it won't be long before it's actually being used, because right now the AI computers and stuff are building it for videos and television and stuff like that.
Tasha, me getting married is probably what saved my life a couple of times. I do not regret getting married, period.
No, I think there are things in our lives that we've made bad decisions of doing, and there's stuff that you think you would go back in time and change. But I try to look at those things as
learning
ways to learn. It's learning. And if I got the opportunity to, because we did this on Bushcrafty, if you could go back in time and change something, would you do it? And there's some things that I would really love to change, but I don't know if changing that would totally change everything else in my life. You have kids, you make friendships, you do this and that. Just one little thing can change all that. I mean, bending over to pick a quarter up when you didn't do it before could, change so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know that. And that's the weird thing.
Well, see, I think you asked me that question when we was up there, and I don't think I hesitated. I said, no, I would not change nothing, because everything I went through was a learning experience for me. Now, I can look at other people and tell some things about them that most people cannot. Like that, or I've learned a lot from my mess ups, and trust me, and I have messed up a lot in my life.
Oh yeah,
but that's the only way a person will learn. You got to get out there and you've got to make mistakes to learn. And I hate to say this right now, but our kids today won't even get out there and make mistakes to learn. I think a few of them will.
Well, they don't have
But
to. They have a thing in their hand that tells them everything to do. Like
see, that's
what
more.
we're talking about before.
Yeah,
When we worked at a place to where we had to give change, we had to use our brains and actually make change. You know,
yeah.
now it's on the damn cash whereas it tells you how much to give back to the person.
That's the
Even though
reason.
hardly anybody uses cash anymore, but
See, I think that's one of the reasons cash won't be coming back because people don't know
oh
how to
no,
count.
no,
You
and
know, and it's a shame.
and probably in 10 years' time, very few people will know how to write in cursive. There are people in school now that don't sign their name, that they spell it out because they've never
Yeah,
been taught how to do cursive. And that makes I'm like, but they don't that and that's the thing, they don't need a signature anymore because that's not, that used to be the thing you had to, that was your way of proving yourself and stuff
yeah.
because you had to have your write or do your name in cursive. That was your signature. Now it's just hit the checkbox and hit enter, and that's it.
A person can write their name 10 times in a row. Not one will be the same. Not one signature will be the same. But yet,
Well, I
road.
I can do it with both hands, so I can make two different signatures.
Mm-hmm. Now, my mother could look at a handwriting and tell if that person was left-handed or right-handed by
Oh
the way
yeah,
that I
there's
can't.
variables where you can.
Yeah.
Well, did you ever write with a ink and quill? I think it's called.
Are you trying to be a smart ass?
No, I'm being serious. I've used it before
Ah,
myself. Not like I went to school and that's what I had to use or anything like
okay,
that.
okay, okay.
I mean, have you
No,
ever used one?
no, I've never used one. The
Okay.
closest I've came were the pens that you had to change the ink in.
Oh, okay. And there was the one because I've seen the desk that had the holes in it to where the ink set in there, and that you dip the pin in. But I've actually
Yeah, now
used,
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, I actually used a quill. I think they're called a quill.
Yeah, it's called a
Um,
quill.
yeah, um, it was one of them old fashioned where they reenact stuff. It's a little town, and you go in there and you can make brooms and stuff, and they have you sign your name that you've been through the whole course and everything. It was with the quill, and I thought, man, that's the coolest thing ever.
Shit,
My
now I can
signature
make
looked
my
like
own
crap
broom.
because you're supposed to daub it on the there's a little cloth there. You're supposed to
Yeah.
dab it there and then write. I didn't know that.
Huh. Now I can make my own broom. Okay, you know a lot of people know this. My daddy's side of the family is mountain people. Okay, they never went to the store and bought a broom. I don't know how in the hell they made mops, but I do know how to make a broom, even to this day. You know, calligraphy. Hell, I can't pronounce that word correct. That I do know that's real fancy writing.
Oh yeah, that used to be an art. I don't know if people still do that or not.
When I was back in school, they had classes that taught that.
Uh, you're 100% right, but how many parents will do that? If
Now,
it's not needed anymore, who's going to teach their kids that?
if you really want to mess up today's society, Write all the instructions in cursive, especially a manual car.
Oh yeah. I went to look at a step-in van a few months ago, and it was stick shift. And I asked the guy, he said, "Can we take it out for a spin?" He says, "I don't know how." And I said, "You don't know how to drive?" He said, "Oh, I know how to drive, but I don't know how to drive that big thing in the middle." And I said, "You mean a manual transmission?" "Oh, okay. Yeah, that." And I said, "Well," I said, "I'll drive if it's okay." And he said, "Yeah." And I went, you know, and at that time, I didn't know where first was on that thing, because I didn't even know the motor or anything, um, or the transmission, because it's not like it's a Ford or anything. And I found out that it was a Peterbilt
Oh,
motor.
hell,
No,
really?
not a Peterbilt. The Caterpillar.
Okay. The first two things I try to learn is where is reverse and where is first.
Yeah, first is after you get the first, you're good.
Yeah.
So, and the first thing
Now, wait a minute.
I always do, I pull it over and go
Yeah.
over to the left, and then see if where I'm going first. And then,
well, now people like yourself,
1, 2, 3, 4.
People like yourself and like me, we understand what I'm talking about when I say try to find reverse and first.
Yeah.
People that's never driven one, well, what's that got to do with it? Trust me, that's got a hell of a lot to do with it.
Usually, you can find out if you found one, you can find the other one.
Yeah. But you got to remember, hell, I've driven 15 speed. You know, I've driven them.
I've never driven any big trucks. I've drove in them. I could probably drive them, but yeah.
TJ Katz, that's one vehicle I have never driven, has been a Volkswagen.
Oh, 64 Beetle. Oh,
yeah. And I heard
that now.
in order to put that in reverse, you've got to pull up on a lever and go into reverse. Am I right with that?
Another thing is, all sticks are not on the floorboard.
Oh, hell. Oh, ones on the tree are easier. They're the easiest ones to learn how to drive. Because all the way back to you and down is first. Go up, push it toward the motor, and up is second, and straight down is third. And if you come back and all the way up, that's reverse.
Yeah,
that's on all of them.
Best one I learned on is a 300 Ford.
Really? Now, Daddy, he kept migraines all the time. I mean, real bad.
Okay, Jeff, don't say nothing. How many cylinders are on a 300 Ford?
Really? Come on.
I know you know.
No.
The last one I had, I actually had to.
I rebuilt.
It had a blown head gasket, but I could drive that. It didn't matter. I could drive that thing around, and it wouldn't die. But there's some things you need heat and that stuff. But
yeah,
that was one of the easiest head gaskets I replaced. I think 2 hours, if that, and it took me 2 hours because I was just messing around.
Well, see, I rebuilt a 300 from the head up.
Mm.
You know, I mean, all of it. For the simple fact is, it was a blowed head gasket, and I was going through oil like you wouldn't believe. Is he the only one so far?
Did they actually quit making the 300?
I think so.
I mean, you can get full size buses, and they have that 6-cylinder in there.
But now there was another one. I think it was a little bit lower than a 600, of which that was also a good motor. But for the 6 cylinders, 300, that was the best straight 6 motor Ford come out. And I've got to say, for a V8, a 289 was the best one.
Oh,
you couldn't hardly blow them things up.
Yeah, for that. Oh man, that thing is like a tank. The 300s.
All you got to do is keep oil in it. That's it.
had the well, majority had the little 1 barrel, but you could get the 2 barrels on there.
Yeah, you talking about the 6
Yeah.
7? Yeah. Mine was in a 71 pickup truck.
Little bit.
And trust me, I could get up underneath the hood and stand on the ground right there beside the motor.
Yeah.
You know.
And I did this in a van, and I still stood inside with my feet on the ground, standing up in there.
I've got a scar on my, what is it? Yeah, right hand, to where I was in a C10, changing plugs. And I put every damn thing I had on that ratchet. And when it broke, it laid my skin wide open. But I finished changing the plugs before I put a Band-Aid on it. That thing done pissed me off. I wasn't letting it win.
How many times have you ate grease from a motor?
When I did not work on one.
No.
I know what you're talking about. Every time I've worked on one, I've ate grease.
You rub your hands off with a rag and eat a bologna sandwich, and there's grease marks all over that sandwich. You still ate it.
Yeah. My wife asked me, she said, "Ain't you gonna wash your hands?" I said, "Why?" She said, "Look at all that grease." I said, "That's clean grease. I wash my hands."
Yeah. Nowadays, I wouldn't want to do that because all the stuff that's on the ground and
chemicals and everything else. No. Mm-mm.
And that's another thing. I don't know where I was watching a video or something on somebody's live, and it was talking about skin cancer and stuff like that. And I said, you know what's really funny is I didn't start hearing about skin cancer until they started telling everybody to wear sunblock.
Yep, exactly.
And then all of a sudden everybody was getting skin cancer, and oh no, the sun's horrible. And I do agree with, if you're out in the sun too long, that's radiation. But I never had. I would get burnt like a lobster, and then I'd be tan.
Yeah.
I never wore sunblock or anything like that.
Hell, summertime, I never wore a shirt. I always had shorts on. The clothes. Now, look, a lot of y'all's going to laugh, But the closest I would get to oil or something like that, mercurochrome. Believe it or not, some people know what I'm talking about. I would take it and rub on me.
What was it?
Mercurochrome. Iodize, how, I want to say mercurochrome.
I don't know.
And then I heard later on in my years, and please don't get mad at me for what I'm fixing to say. I used that Afro Sheen a couple of times to get a
on your skin.
Yeah, that shit works too.
For what?
You get a suntan.
Oh,
that shit worked.
I just let the sun do it.
Well, yeah, I did too.
I love the smell of the coconut oil and stuff, though.
Dude, when we were 16 and 17, come summertime, that was one smell I loved to smell was the coconut oil.
Yeah.
Because you could always tell somebody was getting a suntan.
Is your wife by you, Jeff?
She's in the bed asleep with the
Oh, okay.
God. We used to go, okay, Ramada Inn or Hilton Inn, Holiday Inn. You know, come on now. I'm talking 15, 16, 17 years old, okay? We used to go to places like that just to go to the swimming pool.
Oh, yeah.
TJ Katz, we used Pam cooking oil way back. I've heard of it, but I've never tried it.
I never used any of that stuff.
Well, you got to remember.
I've seen a lot use baby oil, though. I've seen a lot of girls use baby oil.
Oh, I've done that. I've got a picture of me right now. You'd swear up and down. You couldn't tell me if I was black or white in that picture on account of the suntan I had. And that's when I worked in a sawmill.
I got heading back from Phoenix. I was taking a bus to Tennessee, and I got the Greyhound bus got pulled over. They were checking for illegals, and they pulled me off because I had been working I was a roofer in Phoenix, and I was that dark. And they had me come out, and I had to give them a license and everything. Everybody else was on the bus, and I was the only one that was. I was like, "You're kidding me! I know there's Mexicans on this bus, and they pull me out of everybody." And I'm like, "This is not right."
Really, dude, you can't tell an American from a Hispanic. You need to go back to school.
Well, I was really dark.
So was I.
Because of working in the sun all day.
I
got checked out for about 15 minutes, and then we were on our way.
I can see you right now being that dark with that full-grown beard you've got.
I didn't have the beard.
Well, I know. I mean, right now, I can see you being that dark with that beard. You look wicked.
I get. Oh, it's. I don't know. I've been tempted a lot to shave it off because people are weird when they see somebody with a long beard.
Yeah.
I have women wanting to come up and run their fingers through my beard. Men ask, do you use an iron on your beard? Do you use this on your beard? What products do you use on your beard? No, I don't do anything. It just grows. And
dude, I'm glad
people are really
you
weird.
Switched that real.
Huh?
Before I started getting into church real heavy years ago, I had long hair down to my shoulders. My beard was about halfway to my chest, about half as long as yours. I wore billed overalls. I wore blue jeans that was split in the whole 9 yards. I had people get out of my way when I come through a door. I've had people hold the door open for me because they were scared. And it hit me one day. I'm going to run up on somebody who's not going to be scared. You know, so I kind of changed it a little bit because I did not want to have that type of reputation. I wasn't nothing like that the way I look back in. But it seems like after I got my hair cut and shaved my beard, it was like, get the hell out of my way, asshole. You know.
Yeah. 80s until
shit, I could put my hair up in the ponytail.
Even in the 90s, I had long hair.
70s and 80s, about halfway through the 80s, my hair was so long I could put it up in ponytail. And
I never did the ponytail thing.
But my beard, like I was saying, it was down like that. And while I was taking a nap one day, my daughter, I could feel her get up there and, you know, sit on my belly or whatever. She braided my damn beard while I was sleeping. She thought it was funny. Tasha, I know you can't judge a book by its cover, but back then, I don't think people really understood that saying. You know, I was typing. Look, I was the type who went to bars back in. My type of bar was 5 minutes after you walked through the door. If there wasn't a bar stool or a table getting smashed or whatever, that was not my type of bar.
Yeah, I was thinking about growing my hair out again, until I was working in the garden and I was drenched, and I said that, and shaved it all off. Because when my son first went in the army, he was complaining that, you know, he has to shave every day, he has to get haircuts about every 2 weeks, and I said, well, let's make a deal. I won't shave, and I didn't have a beard at that time. I was clean shaved, and I said, I'll make a deal with you. I won't, while you're in the army, I won't shave or cut my hair. And you can't complain about shaving or getting haircuts. And he said, yeah, well, that sounds like a deal. And it worked good. My hair was all the way down to my butt. My beard was longer than it is now. And he decided, oh, I'm going to re-enlist. And I said, well, that deal we made, it's off now. Because I wanted a haircut. Because, well, I'm sure women already know this. When they roll over and you have really long hair and you go to get up, you know, put your arm down, and you're like, ugh, you're stuck.
Well, yeah.
I have that issue I had it with the front end and the back end. So it was very annoying.
Tasha, I had a life-changing experience back in the early 90s. Before that, my heart was as black as a piece of coal. I did not care who you was or whatever. Well, you know, at the drop of a hat pin. But I'm going to say around 95, that's when I growed up, and it seemed like it was overnight. And the way you see me now is what I've changed into. You know, like you said, you can't judge a book by its cover.
Oh yeah, well, I could almost say the same thing, because I was almost. I wouldn't say I was trying to. I can't say the word delete myself, but
Right.
I didn't care.
That's the way I was.
And I was really, and this is in the 80s and at the start of the 90s, and really bad drugs, alcohol, the whole 9 yards. Um, until I met my wife. And before I could marry her, I actually had to go to church. It's Catholic. Even though I wasn't Catholic, I still had to do the classes for 6 months. It was once or twice a week, and it was an hour to 2 hours. And after that, it was like somebody else came into my body, and I was a totally different person.
Yeah.
And then had my daughter, and life completely changed.
Well, now, if y'all remember earlier in tonight's show, I said if it hadn't been for me marrying my wife, I'd probably be dead. And I mean, I'm not lying about that.
Oh,
because
I'm surprised I'm still here.
Yeah, I am too. By so many means. And Mike Jones also posted, I've met many demons in church.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like to me now the church is a gathering spot for demons. And I truly hate to say it like that.
Not all.
Right. Not all. Not all.
Yeah.
But I can just about, I've said it earlier, and I'm going to say it again. I can just about look at somebody on kind of my experience I've had in life, tell what type of person that person is.
Get up there.
You know,
and
I can walk. What?
Getting the echo from you again.
I don't see how. I ain't got nothing on.
Yeah, well, now I don't hear it now.
Hold it. Wait a minute. There is some apps in my back. Let me clear them out. Damn. This one wanting to be stubborn. Is that any better?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
I don't hear myself talking now. Yeah.
Well, damn, if you can't hear yourself talking, how are we supposed to hear what you saying?
Out of your speakers.
I'll put it like this. Since 95, I've come a long way. You know, and I'm still struggling. I've tried. I am trying to leave that past behind me.
And that's the only place that it can go, unless you make it go. Now,
yeah, but
present, and the future, it's done gone.
But you see, it's always in my head. It'll always stay there. It's like, okay, please don't nobody get offended. And I've been down this road. Okay. It's like an alcoholic. Even though you've not drunk beer in, let's say, 20 years, you always got that taste for it.
Same thing with cigarettes. That's what I was saying the other day. You can smell cigarettes from way far away. You can actually smell if they're cheap cigarettes or good cigarettes. You get that taste in the roof of your mouth, and it's like you almost you want that cigarette.
Yeah. And let's say you just quit smoking and you're hanging around somebody that does smoke, it won't take long. You'll pick it right back up. Damn, TJ. I highly apologize for that. But coming up, the way I was taught, the way I was raised up, that was one. That and cussing God was two of the biggest no-nos. Period.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. And there is a third one with little people, but I don't want to get into that.
Yeah. Yeah, and
You know,
I did on the over at my other channel, the Bushcrafty channel. I do the daily jibber jab and whatever, and I had talked about, and I got a lot of mixed comments about this. Some I actually had to delete. Somewhere, and I forget, I don't remember what verse or book or anything, but I dropped the Bible, and I had been, going out with a few women trying to replace the wife at that time. And I came to a verse, and it says men shouldn't be going out looking for women and so forth. If I, meaning God, think you need a woman, I will provide one for you. And that's not the way it goes, but I'm making
that's
it
close
simpler.
enough because I read the same verse.
Yeah. And pretty much at that point, I just leave it up to him. If I find somebody, it's going to be because God brought her to me, type of thing. Because when I was actually looking, because when I was growing up, my mom was murdered
I'll be back in a
at
second.
an early age, and my dad shacked up with women to replace the mom, so somebody to take care of me. Um, I would say 98% of the time, those women were very abusive. So I got abused most of the time because of the women that was brought in. So I didn't want to take a chance on that happening to my kids after my wife had died. So I did everything, they never met my kids or anything like that. And I got to the point to where I wasn't happy with it. So, and that's when I found that verse, and then I stopped, just put all my effort into raising the kids. And was a lot happier after that. Because when you go out looking, trying to find that, when you can't find it, it's very hard. I'll put it that way. But like I said, I don't know if me explaining it came off the right way or the wrong way, but some people didn't agree with it. And said that was, I had a couple people saying that was that was silly and it wasn't in the Bible and this and that. And yeah. So that was the last of that. But we are almost getting close to time to go over to the Vineyard Chicks. I do believe that they're going live tonight. Let me check real quick. Let's see here. Yep, they are at 9 o'clock. Go. Whoops. There we go. Did you hear about the magic tractor? There's a magic tractor. I know there's a magic school bus. Who remembers the magic school bus?
I used to drive the magic school bus. That was the short one, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was a teacher. The teacher drove the school bus, and there was a
cartoon. It was a Saturday cartoon, and it also went to Channel 4, I believe.
It was, I believe it started on PBS.
Yeah.
The Yellow Submarine. I
remember that.
Oh, I got something for you. Many people might not know. Okay. You know Disney. Okay. You know Disneyland. Did you know that all the flags, American flags that fly at Disneyland are fake? They're not American flags. They are purposely missing stars and stripes. Why is that?
I did not know that. I always thought it was because it was made overseas.
No, Disney's American made. Walt Disney is American. But if you go to Disneyland and you see American flags, they're fake American flags. They don't have all the stars or all the stripes. And also, there is an underground little city and tunnels underneath of Disneyland.
You bringing that up?
That used to be for employees and stuff. I wouldn't say that would be what they're for now, but I'm not going to go into that. But
wildlife,
you can let your imagination go with that one.
Yeah, wildlife, you just killed the quiz I was fixing to give. Hey, Chrissy Cat. But
yeah, I've been to Disneyland. I would have never guessed that they weren't, regular American flags.
I've never been to Disneyland. I've never been to Six Flags.
I've been to Six Flags.
The only one,
Knott's Berry Farm.
The only one I've been to is Carowinds. That's the only one I've been to.
You cut out when you said it. What was it? Oh.
Okay, the only one I've been to was Carowinds, and that's it. I've never even been to the state fair.
I've been to way too many state fairs.
But
you used to make good money.
I've been to a whole bunch of carnivals.
Texas State Fair was probably the most I've made money at, because it's you work 18, 19 hours a day there for 2 weeks. And I didn't take breaks, so I was always wanting that money.
I can understand that.
I don't know if it's that way now.
Yep, Mike. I just wish to God I saved all my money when I was coming up.
Oh yeah. I've made some money back in the day that I wish I had now.
Same here, but mine was drugs, alcohol, and pool halls and bars. That's where mine went.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go to any of the amusement parks nowadays. And that's when I was younger too. So, Knott's Berry Farm it's like the Peanuts.
I've heard that name when I was coming up, but I couldn't tell you what it is now.
What's the girl that always lifts the football for Charlie Brown?
Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy. Because they dress up in the outfits. Well, they did back then. And I was being hit on by Lucy. And I was like, all I gotta say, there better be a girl underneath that mask.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, she was.
Nowadays, there ain't but one. Well, hell, you really can't tell then. Is Crocodile Dundee to check a female, do it the way he did. But you can't tell that no more.
You can't do that.
Let's put it like this. You might not be able, that you can't do that, but it gets done.
Yeah.
But all I got to say is, thank God I am not in the dating scene today.
Oh. I went out on a date a few weeks ago, and because I guess now you actually have to bring up, and I always said this. I still say it. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'll go for what's best for my town, county, and all that stuff, country.
Exactly.
But evidently now that has to be one of the first things you talk about, because if you're one side or the other, you're an awful person.
I'm like this.
No matter if you guys are getting so along that you think it's wonderful, and they find out, oh, you like Trump? Check. Even though I'm still the old fashioned, that when I take somebody on a date, I pay for the date.
Thank you.
I don't. Oh, let's do splitsies or whatever they call it now, where everybody splits the check or whatever. If I was asked that, I've had women, cook dinner or stuff like that, but if I had somebody say, well, let's split it. No.
I'll tell you something else real damn quick. If I was back in the dating scene and I took a true female out. Let's put it like that. And the only thing she done while we were sitting there at that table was on that phone. I would probably get up, excuse myself, pay for the check, hers and mine, and I would leave.
It's really weird to come down to that. You know what I mean?
It is. I mean, look, if I was back in the dating scene, I want to know as much about that person as possible. Me, I would let the other person talk first. And believe it or not, I would listen. The second date, I'm pretty sure she's going to want to know something about me, so I would talk. And if it made it to a third go round, we would both talk. You know, how we see ourselves in the future. Okay? Plain and simple. But if I'm in that dating scene again and all you want to do is get on that damn phone and text here, text there, and do this and do that, bye. Plain and simple.
Well, now, if you get to the point where the texting thing is fine, but you'll get to the point where, oh, come on over. And I'm like, there's no date, no nothing. It's just you text for 5 minutes and then, oh, come on over. I'm like, no, I don't know who you are.
She could be a demon in disguise. You know.
Because it's that thing, it's just too easy to go and start chatting for 5 minutes and then, oh, let's go.
Yeah. Hello, Bigfoot. Good evening, sir.
Hey, Bigfoot.
Boy, at all times to pop in chat.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's got to be a multiple dates. Let's put it that way.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And with that, I think it's about time to send everybody over to Vineyard Chicks, because it's about that time. I haven't heard anything from 101, so I don't know if he's going live or not. But
let me
anyway, send everybody over to the Vineyard Chicks. And
no, he's not. Didn't I call it last night?
Yeah. I will be live Wednesday at 8:00. I got a really good interview going with that one, and we'll be back over at Jeff's, and he has a secret guest.
Well, I'm gonna drop the secret. I'm gonna have a real good guest. It's gonna be Bushcraft family, and it's going to also be Ark Wildman. I'm having up there. So please tell everybody to come over Thursday. And there's going to be some interesting topics I hope that we talk about. It may last an hour. It may go longer. You know, so and I'm going to start Thursday at 7:00.
Yeah, make sure everybody heads over there and say hi to the Vineyard Chicks. And I do believe they're starting to do requests too. So if they don't know it, they'll practice it and do it the following week. So head on over, and the girls are getting really good. So you don't want to miss
Yes, they are. Tell them Bush and Bear sent you.
We will catch you on the next one.
Oh, Bushcraft out. I got to do that.